Hey everybody, thank you so much for watching. In this video, I'm going to go over 5 simple pedal board tricks that will make your sound better. So if you already know a lot about pedal boards or pedals in general, then you might be able to just click away right now. But if you want some advice or just some tricks that you may not know, well, be sure and watch through the whole thing. Let's not waste any time. Let's get right into it. The first thing that I want to talk about is strategic placement, which I do think is important when setting up a pedal board. For instance, I don't think that you should put your overdrives and then your dynamics and then your time, or your time-based effects and then your dynamics and then your overdrives, because it's going to create a lot of mud and a lot of unwanted noise or lack a depth and clarity. If you put your delays before your overdrives, it's going to dirty up the echoes and the delays, and it's just not going to sound very good. So the order that I recommend doing would be dynamics, overdrives, fuzzes, and distortions, and then your delayed and time-based effects. So compression, wah-wah, volume, that kind of stuff, then overdrives, your fuzzes, your OCD pedals, all that good stuff. And then after that, I would do all of your delays and reverbs. Typically, I actually like delay right at the very end because it's just kind of a sweet spot. And this will just ensure that your pedals will play nicely with each other, because there is nothing like pedals not playing nicely with each other. We don't want to have to fix that later. The next trick that I want to talk about is using the effects loop in the back of your amp if your amp has an effects loop. And this is specific for time-based effects like reverbs and delays. You should be able to come out of them and go into the back of the amp where you will see an effects loop input. Once you do that, it can help to clean up a lot of the muddiness in your mix. For a long time, I was not doing this. I was just going straight into the front of the amp, into the preamp right into the front, and it's cool, you know, it will work that way. But once you start using the effects loop, it really cleans up a lot of that muddiness, and it just kind of tucks that effect nicely into your signal, making it just sound nicer overall. Since I've been doing that, I literally cannot go back to doing the front of the amp way, unless, of course, the amp I'm using didn't have an effects loop. Try this out, see if this works for you. I highly recommend it. It's going to sound a lot better. Let me give you an example. Trick number 3 is to use a buffer pedal. A buffer pedal is important, especially for those of us who are pedal junkies and have a ton of different pedals. A buffer can really help maintain high clarity and signal strength going through your whole pedal chain. I do recommend having one, especially if you have a lot of pedals or long lines going in between pedals for whatever reason. Having this can help prevent degradation of sound and even tone loss. So just try it out if you have a lot of pedals. Let me know what you think. Speaking of letting me know what you think, let me know what you think in the comments down below. And if you like this kind of stuff, be sure to like and subscribe to my channel. We are slowly growing, and I really appreciate you guys so much. I'm having a blast making these videos. Thank you so much. Back to the video. Expression pedals. What you can use with expression pedals is slowly dialing any modulation of sound. If you just want to touch in a little bit of the delay, you can use an expression pedal to start to slowly drive that up. Instead of having your delay on 100% wet in your mix, you can kind of have a certain amount of it just touching certain amounts of your song or certain parts of your song, instead of an all or nothing effect. Try using an expression pedal to really hone in and dial in your sound. It can really help with your dynamic control overall, and can just make your sound a little bit more professional and a little bit tighter. I know DoD makes a great expression pedal. That's a tiny little guy, but it is a high quality piece that I have used before, so I do recommend it. And I see expression mostly used with delays, where people might just put in a little bit of delay on a certain part, but you can use an expression pedal on any pedal that will have an expression out or allow for that function. Tip number 5 is make sure that you get yourself a good power supply, because power is one of the most important things on your pedal board. For a long time, I was just using the one spot, which will work and get you by in a quick pinch, but then I had upgraded to the Voodoo Labs 4 power supply, and I noticed a massive difference. After that, I started adding Strymon pedals to my board and more pedals pedals that required more milliamperage and voltage, and I couldn't keep up with the Voodoo Labs power supply. What I needed to do was eventually get myself the Strymon Zuma, which allowed for 500 milliamps and a buffer built in, I think, on the power supply. Let me know if there is a buffer, but it does have 500 milliamps per out on the power supply, and it was like a night and day difference when I went from my Voodoo Labs to that. I could literally hear a difference in my sound when I was playing with my band, and even they commented on how good it sounded. I highly recommend a good power supply, especially if you are relying on pedals as part of your tone or part of your sound. It's important. Typically, you could put your power supply up tucked underneath your board or off to the side because we want it to be neat, right? We don't want your power going everywhere. And here's a quick bonus tip for you guys. Make sure that you regularly update your pedal board layout. It's really fun to do, first of all, which is a total reason for you to go buy more pedals, right? Just, yeah, take my credit card. We're going to go buy more pedals today. That's what the heck we're going to do. But it also allows you to get a sense of what you like and change up your tone a little bit. So let me give you an example of the way that my pedal board is currently. I have a really simple pedal board set up for this particular set that we're doing, which is literally just a tuner going into a wah-wah, going into the Boss OC5 octave. I don't have any overdrives or anything going on there. I'm letting my amp do the distortion, but I do have another pedal board set up that I'm going to show you real quick, which I sometimes change between because, well, you can get different sounds and different effects, especially if I'm going into more of a clean amp like a Fender. For instance, I have this setup here where you could have like a compressor, like a Cali 76 compressor going into an Ibanez Tube Screamer, which then goes into the Octa Fuzz if I wanted some fuzz tone, and then into the Clone Theory Chorus, and lastly, the Boss DD3 delay. Now, I would put that delay going through the effects loop on the back of my amp just to clean up the sound a little bit and not let it be too muddy or interfere with that fuzz or that Tube Screamer by any means, and just kind of clean up the sound. So there you have it. There are 5 pedal board tricks with one bonus one, which is basically to update your pedal board every so often because, yeah, it's totally worth it. It lets you justify buying more pedals, right? Guys, thank you so much for watching. My name is Cliffhanger. My channel is Riff with Cliff. Again, if you like this kind of stuff, be sure to like and subscribe. I appreciate you guys so much. I think I gotta go now and, well, set up one of these pedal boards. But in the meantime, if you want to check out any of my other videos, I highly recommend you do so over here in one of these. I'll see you right over there. Thanks for watching. Peace out.